Hey, hey. Come take a stroll with Nick down the road, with storyboard and tales untold, from the highs to the low, get in tune that we go, 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 cause he's your guy, he's by your side, hitting topics that's worldwide. So let's take a ride and make some noise, buy you some merch for you to enjoy, get the word from anything and everything with Nick Steinberger. Let's go.
Go. Welcome to Anything and Everything Season 2, Episode 4, everyone. Woo! Yeah! One more time for the fans. Woo! Yeah. Woo! Woo! I don't know any more chance to give out. But welcome to Season 2, Episode 4 with blah, 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 blah. Let me redo it, folks. Welcome to Season 2, Episode 4 with Anything and Everything with Nick Steinberger. I'm your host, Nick Steinberger, of the podcast / turned into night show. Yes, no, maybe so. We don't know yet. I don't know what's going on with the microphone right now, but we're going to figure it out. Right now, we got Max in the studio. Max, give a little woohoo. Max is back in the studio, everyone. Shout out to Max. Woo! Yeah! I'm stalling for him, because if you can't tell, if you're watching, he just fixed it. The name was just changed because we have a new guest. I met this guest about a few months ago, soon to now turned to a close friend of mine. I hope I'm a close friend of his. You'll find out once we turn his mic on, turn the camera on him. But this is his name is Austin. Last name I can't pronounce. He'll pronounce it. He was just a part of Standard Issue. He's a Army veteran, still active member. So I think he has like a month or two left. We'll get into that. We're gonna a lot of topics, but without further ado, let me introduce the one, the only, Austin. I can't pronounce your last name. Woo! How do you pronounce your last name?
Vanderkerkhove.
Vanderkerkhove. I'm gonna move your microphone real quick.
I'm gonna sit up a little bit.
Get into your spot right there.
Yep.
Boom. How are you doing, Austin?
I'm doing great.
Great?
Great. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah,
Good.
Glad to be here.
How was your day?
It's been long. It's
Long?
been a long day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you feel that you're live? Like everything you do is happening live. Like people will see it. Is it throwing you off right now?
A little bit.
bit?
I think I'm getting used to it. Ever since the show, I've
Yeah.
been kind of
Very much
getting
so.
used
Yeah.
to that.
Because you came from for those you know, Austin. We just performed Standard Issue the musical, the world premiere at the American Cultural and Civic Center, June 4th through 6th. We performed June 6th through 8th.
Yep.
Don't quote me on that. It was 6th through 8th about 2 weeks ago now.
I am going to quote you on that. It was the 6th through the 8th.
Okay, whatever, Dave. Shit, whatever. But Austin, he was in the Army. How long were you in the Army for? How long were you in the Army?
I was active duty for 3 years. Came home, went straight into the National Guard for 3 years, and now I'm on the back end of my last 2-year contract. So it'll be 8 in total, 8 years, 16 weeks. In July.
Yeah. So shout out to Austin. Thank you again for your service and everything you've done.
Thank you for your support.
Austin joined. Austin, you kind of appeared out of nowhere, which was kind of the point of Vets in the Arts, the producers of the show, the nonprofit, and it's in the name, Vets in the Arts, getting veterans involved in the arts, in theater, in art, painting, whatever. All that the arts include. And Austin was one of the first prime suspects. I call them suspects. But guinea pigs, if you will.
I like guinea pigs.
And
like a gerbil.
You kind of look like a gerbil. I'm kidding. But no, Austin, he kind of joined in, and everyone loved him. He loved it. I remember a quote you said that you're going to keep auditioning for shows, which was the point of the whole thing.
Yeah.
Which is the whole thing. And you and 2 other veterans were, and have never done shows before. So it was a really good thing, really good turnout, a really good turnout for an original show. 856 people showed up.
Really?
80 of them were veterans too, and that was one of the biggest parts, was 80 of them were veterans. So that was really cool. If you're watching, you came to see the show, thank you so much for coming to see the show. But back to Austin. How are you doing? I already asked that question. We're going to get on it. So, cutting back to the Army.
Yep.
Cutting back to, what I got on my little sheet right here with my little notes. You can't really see it because of the exposition and the brightness, but ignore that. So, Army.
Yes.
What
Well,
is it?
What is it?
What's the Army? Let me hear. What's your definition of the Army?
Oh boy. See, what am I allowed to say? What am I not allowed to say?
Oh.
Well, it was a love-hate relationship.
Yeah.
That's I think is the biggest thing that I how I describe it.
Mm-hmm.
There were a lot of things that I absolutely loved about it, but then flip side of that coin, there was a lot that I didn't like,
Yeah.
disagreed with, just didn't vibe
So
well with me.
when did you join? When did you enlist?
It was, I believe it was March of 2017.
Mm.
It was February or March. It was,
Yeah.
So I've been in corrections for 11 years now, and I've always wanted to be in the military. And what happened was I kept putting off going into the military for this relationship or that relationship. Yeah, I know, typical small town crap, right?
Oh well.
But I was at work. I was working for corrections. I was talking to one of my lieutenants, and I will never forget. We were talking about the military and
Yeah.
if I wanted to do it. I'm like, yeah, I want to do it. I've always wanted to do it. By now, I was 23 years old.
Yeah.
And I hadn't done it yet. Hadn't even talked to a recruiter. And he said, "Well, what's stopping you?" And I sat there for a minute. I'm like, that's a great point. I don't know what's stopping me now because the relationship didn't work out.
Yeah.
And so I sat on that for about a week. Why don't I go? And then I said, to hell with it. I went and talked to a recruiter and said, I want to do this. I was on a plane 2 weeks later for Fort Benning, Georgia.
Wow.
Like, I took no time.
Yeah.
I did not want to hesitate. I didn't want to overthink it and then not do it again. Because what he told me is that he was in the same boat when he was, a teenager. He wanted to do the military, family in the military, but he kept putting it off for school, relationship.
Yeah.
Then he got engaged and didn't want to leave the fiance. Then he got married and
Yeah.
then he had kids. And he said, eventually I got too old. I couldn't do it.
So it was
So-
like, I need to do it now.
It's like, don't keep putting it off to where you can't do it later.
And that kind of works for, especially in the Army, because you can really only do it when you're younger, when you start out. But it kind of works out for anything. It's like, don't wait for it. Do it. The best time to start is 2 days ago. I heard a quote. It was like, the best time to plant a tree was 25 years ago, and the second best time is right now. Which I feel like that quote works out for a lot of things.
Yeah.
Because you always are growing, no matter what field you are, whatever you're doing. Whoa! I'm now realizing that my microphone, the hot spot's right here and not right here, so it sounds different, even though it's the same volume. I'm learning things, people. I'm learning. But what was your mindset? What went through your mind whenever he first asked you, like, what are you waiting for? What's stopping you?
What was the first thing that went through my mind?
Yeah.
Probably that relationship. Because it was an on-again, off-again relationship for like 5 years. It was very toxic. It was not healthy.
Yeah.
And like, she had gotten in my head
Mm-hmm.
that I would never be anything without her. So she would run off, do whatever she wanted.
Yeah.
Dark times. We're not going to go there.
Yeah.
Um,
No, we don't have to.
and then, unless you want to,
Up to
I
you,
did
though.
say nothing was off the table.
It's up to
so
you, though. Yeah. So whenever I
I don't want to
interview-
bring down the mood.
So whenever I interview someone, I always ask them what's on the table and what's not, because I don't want to bring up anything that someone's not comfortable with. But also, once I know what they have, then I can adjust for me what I can do for, like, what I can talk about. But no, up to you. That's a viewer discretion. Actually, podcaster discretion. But
So anyway, yeah. We had, I don't remember how long it was. We had broken up, and I finally had enough. I was fed up with it, and I was just going to work, focusing on me, just trying to get my head right.
Yeah.
And then I had this conversation with this lieutenant, and I was sitting there like, I think I do got my head right now.
Yeah.
You're right. What am I waiting for now? Leaving her behind would be the best thing for me at that time.
And it kind of worked out. It's like,
Yeah.
because you really never know what the next step is. You don't know what's going to happen. And obviously, the Army, did you enlist in the Army or National Guard?
Army.
Okay.
I went
And-
active duty Army first.
Gotcha. And I mean, the Army is a huge step from, because did you work corrections before that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
How long did you work before that?
3 years in corrections.
3 years?
I went from McDonald's to corrections to the Army.
Bitch, they really gave what they put in them Big Macs. But if that, I mean, that still is a huge jump. I mean, joining corrections is a big jump because you spend your entire every day of your life with prisoners, with criminals.
I was 19 whenever I went to the academy.
Oh shit! Yeah, so right off the bat, and that's still even going from corrections to the army. It's a big. That's still a huge because you're serving the country in both ways, but one is really different. From my understanding, is one is hugely different than the other ones. Because I mean, isn't the army the first line of defense if we go to war?
Debatable.
Debatable.
Like every branch has like their specialty.
Yes.
I've always kind of explained like the Marines. Those are, well, I mean, they're Marines. They don't need a description. They're the Marines.
The
It's
Marines,
like, hey,
yeah.
go and
Go kill this.
go
dude.
destroy.
Yeah, go kill this.
Your
dude, yeah.
Navy. I tell people you want to see the world, join the Navy.
Yeah.
They're all over the place. They got the carrier groups and all that stuff, right? So they're all over the world, all the time.
Yeah.
So at any point in time, they're like right there, like stuff that's going on in the world right now.
They're right there.
They're chilling, just waiting for a green light.
Yeah.
Air Force, same thing. They're all over the place. And then I think the Army. This is gonna be a really weird kind of description, but you know how like in Mario Kart, all the different characters have like their different stats, and then Mario is kind of like good, not super great at anything,
But he's like down the middle.
but
of
they're
that
like
line.
awesome at everything.
Yeah.
And then like the Navy is like super great at water stuff, pretty good in air. They don't really have ground units.
Yeah.
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 Air Force, it's in the name.
Air.
So then the Army is just like they're pretty great at everything.
Yeah.
But they don't, and this is my opinion. We don't necessarily excel.
I got you. Yeah.
They're the best at anything. Just accepting
The
this,
army. So like the army's like they're good. You can send them for anything.
like Army Rangers. So to answer your question, it'd basically be like the Army Rangers. I think you need to go take that airfield. Army Rangers, airborne.
Yeah.
But if you're doing some like water ops and like SEAL Team 6 stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like you're sending the SEALs.
Yeah. So what did you do in the army? What was your job?
I was an 11 Charlie indirect fire infantryman. I was an infantry mortarman.
What's that?
In what way? The infantry or the mortarman part?
You tell me.
Okay. So I explain it like the infantry as kicking indoors and throwing hand grenades.
Gotcha.
Like you are the boots on the Army Rangers. Typically, whenever you watch any kind of like military movie, you're watching infantry do the work.
Gotcha.
Obviously, there's medics, commo, everything else under the sun is involved, but the majority of your fighting force is going to come from your infantry, or I'll say your combat arms jobs.
Yeah.
Being your infantry and artillery and stuff like that, right? Obviously, you got the engineers and everybody else. I gotta get. They can't possibly give credit to everybody because there's so many different jobs.
Yeah, 100%.
Everybody has.
Because isn't there a job
right?
for every single thing in the army in the military? Yeah.
Like, and you might think, oh no, they don't have this. Yeah.
Because I mean, they have people that their only jobs are to perform for other army people, right? Isn't that a job?
What do you mean?
Like be like a musician for people in the army?
Yeah. Like there's musicians. Like there's an army esports team.
Is
Like
there
they're
really?
just gamers.
Yeah.
Like they're enlisted. They're at.
They're actively playing Mario Kart. War. Okay, we'll be back in like a few months. Don't worry, guys.
Like they're at. Don't quote me. Nobody quote me. I'll admit if I'm wrong. Right.
Too late. Max, start writing this down.
I was talking to people that were on the Army esports team, and my understanding is that it's out of Fort Knox, in Kentucky.
Gotcha.
I don't know how accurate that is. But like their job, like, they wake up every morning, they go do PT, and then they go do gaming for like a major part of their day. Like they're on the esports teams, like they're going and doing competitions. I imagine it's kind of like the football team, like the Army Navy football team.
Yeah. So I never understood the Army Navy football team. Is that like actual Army people and Navy people, or is it like NFL players that college players that they pick?
I think it's
mix of both.
I think it's like the cadet. What do we call it? Like ROTC. I think it's the guys that are like, I enlisted. I'm going to college to be an officer. I think that's what it is.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I never really looked into it that hard. I'm just like, go Army.
Go Army. Yeah.
Beat Navy. Ooh.
So whenever you were deciding to, was it always Army was the one you were going to go to? Was it always like from when the first time you ever thought about enlisting?
Well, maybe. The first time, this is gonna sound really dumb, typical, kid stuff. I was playing on the GameCube, Medal of Honor Frontline,
Okay.
and I was like, "Oh, this is so fun! This is so cool!"
Yeah.
But even at a young age, I always had this weird, like this desire to go surf. Like it was like
Like
an
in
itch
the back
I
of your
couldn't
mind,
scra-
kind of. Yeah.
like an itch I couldn't scratch. It's just a weird, like a calling. Like I need to do this.
Yeah.
That sounds super cheesy,
No, hey,
but
if it works for you, it works for you.
I always wanted to do it. And then like video games wasn't the reason. Video games was my way to satiate that desire to want to go do it. And then whenever I was a teenager, kind of like really looking into it, like really considering it, like I want to go do the Marines. Like the whole, the few, the proud, the Marines. Once a Marine, always a Marine. Always wanted to do that. Want to be a part of that. And then at 17, I tried to get my parents to let me go in the Marines, and they're like, "No, hell no, not doing, not signing." I'm like, okay, fine. And then
I mean, kind of, and devil's advocate, a fair judgment on their part. So
like no kidding.
Marines is not the shit to mess with. Yeah,
I'm so glad I didn't go do that, just because they get treated like crap.
Yeah,
but and then I started dating this girl in high school who her dad was in the Navy, and so she was going to go into the Navy. I'm like, cool, I'll go in the Navy. Like I was this naive
family of boatmen. Yeah,
like I was naive. Like I'll join the Navy and we'll go together and whatever. No,
because you don't get to pick who you go with, right? Like you don't get to pick. You pick where you go, right?
To some extent, you can. I like if like you and a buddy in high school, like you graduate together, you go and enlist together. I can't remember what it's called, but there's kind of this. It's kind of a program to where you can both go to basic together if you, like pick whatever criteria there is.
So whenever you go to basic, is that where you pick the people you'll be spending the rest of your army with? Is that like where you find out? Like a majority?
Yes and no.
Like
some people do. So you don't know who you're going to serve with. So in basic training, I had no idea where I was going to get stationed.
Yeah.
I had basic training at Fort Benning, Georgia for 16 weeks because I chose infantry. We had OSA, one station unit training. You had your entire training at the one unit.
Yeah.
A lot of MOSs, they'll go to like Leonardwood, and I think it's in Missouri, Oklahoma.
I have no idea.
I used to know all these things. But they go to Fort Leonardwood for basic training, and then again, depending on the job, I know someone who went to Leonardwood and then they went to Arizona for their AIT.
Yeah.
I know people that have gone to Benning for basic and then Leonardwood for AIT. Yeah. So it really just depends on the job.
Yeah.
And then luck. But at Fort Benning, I chose infantry. I had no idea where I was going to go.
Oh, you get to choose where you go?
No.
I mean, like, you get to choose like what job you do?
Sometimes.
To
an extent. It depends on how well you score on the ASVAB.
Gotcha. What's the ASVAB?
The ASVAB is it's kind of like a ACT, but
like Army skills.
Yeah,
gotcha.
Not necessarily Army. Like there's math, there's reading comprehension. Yeah. They'll have like diagrams, like pulleys and ropes.
So it's like basically a test to see where you place and where they can put you in.
Yeah, it's like an aptitude test.
Gotcha.
Really.
Gotcha.
But it's tailored a certain way that the DoD.
So does everyone have to take that, or
to go in the military? Yeah.
In any branch, anything at all?
As far as I understand, yeah.
Gotcha. Because Space Force, that wasn't a thing.
I don't know shit about the Space Force.
I kind of forget that's like an actual like military branch. I'm not gonna lie. I forget because that wasn't a thing until like what, a few years, like 17, 16?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
The only time I ever hear anything about the Space Force is Nico Ortiz on his YouTube videos. He's like, potato.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Love that guy.
And he's got like the aluminum.
You got the aluminum hat.
Yeah.
Come on, potato.
Yeah. But no, it's like, for me, like my family, I have a history of it. Like my uncle, he's in the Air Force. I don't know what rank he is, but he's up there. My grandma and grandpa on my mom's side, they both were military. They both died actually like the week of 9/11. Like they served for like, we have their uniforms. My like a few of my half brothers there in it. So like I know a lot of like my mom was a military kid. Like I think she told me she grew up in like 18 different schools because she traveled all the time with them. And I always wondered what that was like to like live on a military base with your parents serving, you know?
Yeah.
I wonder what I just wonder, like always being around that, you know? But who knows? So like whenever like, because do you mind me talking about your daughter? Do you mind?
No, go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So whenever you had your daughter, were you already in the military when that happened, or?
It came home from active duty.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay.
I met her mom when I was on active duty, and that's a funny story actually. But I came home. Excuse me.
You got it. I believe in you. Spit
words
it out. Come on.
Words are hard sometimes.
Spit it out. Come on.
So kind of going back to the previous question, basic training, like you have no idea where you're going.
Yeah.
They say that you can pick like 3 places. You know, anybody can pull any kind of string and make anything in the contract. So like, whatever. But you don't really get to pick where you're going. So I'm in basic training, and they eventually get this list. I don't know how it's generated, but they came out and they said, okay, we got like 17 names right now.
Yeah.
So and so, you want to know where you're going? Yeah. You want to know where you're going? Yeah. You no, okay, whatever. You know. That's when I found out like I'm going to Fort Campbell.
Yeah.
That's Fort Campbell, Kentucky. It's about 2.5 hours away from where I live. I'm like, sweet. You know,
it's like right by there. Yeah.
Yeah. It was far enough away from home that I kind of felt like I was getting that new start, but still close enough that I can come home on a 4-day weekend and see family.
Yeah.
Plus, I kind of grew up around Fort Campbell with my grandpa.
Oh, so like,
he, you know, so I was familiar with Fort Campbell.
Yeah.
So it was like a win-win-win for me. It was great.
Yeah.
So then, at Fort Campbell is where I met my daughter's mom.
Gotcha.
And then I came home, and then life happens, and then
pregnant. So like, did
daughter.
you and your like her mom, did you guys ever like get married or date or anything like that?
I mean, we dated, but we didn't get married.
Gotcha. So like, was it ever a possibility that she would like live on base with you? Would that ever have been a possibility since you guys weren't married? Because I have no idea how any of that works. Do you have any idea how that works?
Yeah. Yes. I know how that works. I know how that would work. With her, it was complicated. There were things going on.
Yeah.
That I don't care to say, but probably shouldn't say.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to right now.
Yeah.
But if we would have got married, we would have got housing.
Because aren't there benefits to being married in the military and having kids?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like pay increase. You get they got BAH and
like dependent pay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get your basic allowance for housing. So then they'll take your rank and like you get a certain amount, you get a certain allotment to go towards housing and electric and utilities. So then it's kind of on you to decide: do I want to live on base? Do I want to live off base? Because if you do it right, let's say they're going to give you, hey, we're going to give you $2,000 a month. That was strange.
You're good.
So let's say they're going to give you $2,000 a month.
Yeah.
Just for, or they're going to give you $1,000 a month or $1,500 a month. That's reasonable.
Yeah.
They're going to give you $1,500 a month on top of your base pay just for housing.
Yeah.
I never lived off base. I never lived outside of the barracks. I don't remember which circumstance was true, but one way or the other, if you live, I believe if you lived on base, they would cover everything you had on, like they cover all of your housing and utilities. They cover everything, right?
Yeah.
But anything left over, I don't think you got to keep.
Gotcha.
So like if they give you $1,500, but the apartment that you chose to live in was only $1,000, you didn't get that $500.
Gotcha.
But I think if you lived off base and got like a really shitty apartment somewhere,
but you had to keep the money afterwards.
They're like, hey, here's your money, and then you pay whatever agency.
Yeah.
So it's like they don't have a way of tracking how much you're spending, or they don't care. I don't know. There was a loophole in there that a lot of people exploited.
So what was that like whenever, because you just left active duty? How long was it before you went back into
A month?
Oh, okay.
Like it was supposed to be a transition. So I ETS'd. I got out of active duty.
Yeah.
Was July.
How long was your like original contract? 3 years?
3 years and 16 weeks. The 16 weeks covers basic training, and then the 3 years
or active duty.
Active duty.
So what was that like, knowing you're having a kid on the way, and willingly going back to serve? What was that like?
So I came home in technically it was June, because they get so many days of leave, and then if I have leave left over, they just kind of like, well, this is when you're done, but we're going to give you all that leave, so you're going to take leave before you're done.
Gotcha.
So you get out early.
Yeah.
So I took my leave, and my last day in the Army was supposed to be like July 14, July 17, something like that.
Yeah.
And then the August drill for the National Guard, I was supposed to have been there. I didn't go until September because I didn't have any information. I had no information about the unit.
Yeah.
And nobody reached out and contacted me. I was expecting hey, something's gonna propagate on their roster, and they'd reach out and be like, "Hey, here's your sponsor. This is drill, or this is the next drill. Be here this time. Link up with so and so." And that never happened. So I was just kind of like, "Well, what's going on?" Well, then September 1st, I got the phone number for the Armory. I made a phone call. I played phone tag. I think I talked to the recruiter at the Armory, and they got me in touch with who I needed to get in touch with, found out who my people were, and went straight into it. So it was like there was almost no downtime. I went from active duty and transitioned almost immediately into the National Guard. And then I was in the National Guard for about 9 months, and then found out that I was having a kid.
Gotcha.
And then, obviously 9 months later, kid.
So like, what's that protocol like? Do you have do they let you leave unless it's like a war? Do they let you leave base to go like be with your family and stuff like that? Or is it just like you have a kid? Cool.
So on active duty, if you have a kid, that constitutes you getting out of the barracks, getting BAH, and living on housing, either on or off post.
Gotcha.
Regardless of rank.
Yeah.
Because at a certain point with your rank, they do it anyway.
Yeah, and they're not going to be monsters and be like, no, you can't be with your kid. Yeah.
Yeah. But National Guard, I feel like a lot of people misunderstand the National Guard, because the National Guard, like, yes, we're a soldier all the time, 24/7. I can get called at any time. Hey, we're going to New Orleans for flood relief. We're going to New York or LA, right?
So does the National Guard go to war? Or is it like, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, my guys are deployed right now.
Oh, okay.
I can't say where.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah, obviously. Now, tell me every detail all your secrets.
They're airdropping, they're Amazon priming overnight to Ukraine.
Yeah. But no, so is the National Guard like a mini branch, or is that a whole separate branch? Is it like a mini thing apart? Is it a part of the Army, or is it a whole separate thing?
It's yes and no. So it's the Army National Guard, but
they're their own
it's
thing.
still just separate entity.
Gotcha. So like after you do your after you do your 3-year contract or 6-year contract, whatever your contract is, do they ask you, do you want to reenlist?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, yeah.
And so do you get to choose like once you join a branch, are you pretty much with it the entire rest of your life, or is it like can you switch?
Oh no, you can switch.
But do most people don't, or do you think people do?
A lot of people do, actually.
Oh, really?
I knew people that were like, yeah, I was Air Force before this.
Oh.
I was in the Marines before this. Like, I've met every combination.
Yeah. So like whenever you say you do want to reenlist, do like walk you through, okay, well, here's all your options, what the next steps are, kind of? So once you get, I think it's 6 months. Mm-hmm.
6 months to a year. There's something, I don't know, it changes all the time anyway. But when you get so close to ETSing out, there's a whole...
What's ETSing?
It's estimated termination of service. It's, I don't know,
gotcha,
it's an acronym. The Army loves it.
Basically being like your contract's ending.
ETS is like, hey, this is your last day.
Yeah.
Right. So far out, it's like, hey, it automatically happens. So like, there's all kinds of like systems and websites and stuff that have like all of your information and credentials and everything, and then it's tracking dates and certifications and things like that. And so it'll automatically like red flag, hey, this soldier is, within his ETS window. We need to start talking. What is next for him? Gotcha. Is he gonna get out? Does he want to go, start a different chapter of his life? Yeah. Or does he want to keep doing this? Yeah. And then they give you like a whole packet, and there's like a step by step. You got to go here, you got to do this, and you got to go here and do this, and you got, hey, are you getting out? Or that's kind of the first question. What is your plan? Yeah. Are you wanting to re-enlist, or do you want to get out? No, I want to get out. Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure.
Are you double sure?
Are you double sure? Well, now that you mentioned it, what are my options? Like, what do you got for me? Is there any bonuses or any schools? Like, they throw all kinds of incentives at you to try to get you to stay.
Does every branch pay for schooling, or is it just the Army?
Every branch. Yeah.
And so isn't that like a big, I know that's a huge incentive for like high schoolers to join. They're like, okay, 3 years served, then I get free college. Yeah. I know that's a huge incentive. So like, I mean, there's probably plenty of like rewards, like incentives whenever you do enlist, right? Or is there not a lot?
Yeah, there is. It can be. It can be. So timing. It comes down to timing, because budgets and things can change at any point in time. Yeah. Any point in time, a war could pop off, especially nowadays. Yeah. And that changes things too.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Why pay somebody an extra $20,000 to get them covered in the military when we're just like a draft? Yeah. Yeah. So like for me, I got really lucky, and I got a $20,000 sign-on bonus.
Oh,
now
word.
it's not tax-free, but
Still,
it was
that's
still nice.
That's still nice.
It's-
Yeah.
They do that to try and incentivize you join the military. Like, hey,
Yeah.
you do this, you're volunteering to go do this. Here's a bonus.
Yeah.
You
I mean, obviously it's very different, but it's kind of like getting like drafted, like getting like an NFL draft or like signing on with a team. It's like, okay, how about instead of thinking about this goal, here's another $1 million to come to guarantee for us. So it's like, yeah,
I believe there's a lot of it depends on your scores too.
yeah,
Like if you,
Like
this is a personal opinion.
Yeah.
Because there's no like confirmation.
Yeah.
On this, I suspect whenever you've got higher scores, I think they're like, hey, we want to incentivize this guy to join us and not someone else.
yeah.
Because I've.
Oh,
and
so
this is just-
so do you take a score no matter what branch? Like
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
no matter branch, but like do they send your scores to every branch like when you first enlist, or like how does that work?
I'm not sure.
So whenever you like said like they want to join us, so like you get the score like before you can even like sign the papers to join, you have to
I
take
think
the
that
test.
I feel like the DoD as a whole will obviously keeps track of all that.
Yeah,
Because what happened, like I went to an Army recruiter.
yeah,
I didn't talk to a Navy or Marine recruiter or anything
Gotcha.
like that.
yeah.
But somehow, like the other recruiters,
They said, hey,
like they reached out, like, "Hey, are you sure? Do you want to do the Navy? Do you want to join the Marines?"
Yeah.
So
There's something.
I think either they communicate within the office, or I feel like the recruiters,
Yeah,
organization, whatever. I feel like they have they share files.
gotcha. I know what you mean. All right.
And again, I don't know. This is just what I
Yeah, you're a personal guy.
because I saw a lot of guys that were like admitted that they had to have waivers to join because they didn't score very good.
Gotcha. Yeah,
They didn't get bonuses either.
yeah. I gotcha. All right, everyone. We're gonna take a break, sponsor break, if you will. Money. I'm under contractual obligation for like one of them. Not, the other one is just me. My YouTube channel, Bucky's video. Go watch it. Go watch it. It's streaming now. But we're gonna take a break. When we get back, we're gonna switch to standard issue and compare how his new world he joined in a theater compares to the Army and what we just learned. And so, with that, we'll be back. Montage time. Go to effinggear.com. Get you a hat, jacket, some stickers. I missed. Stickers. Use discount code Nick Steinberger for 20% off. I went to Bucky's. Here's how it went.
Nick goes to Bucky's. What a sight. Nick goes to Bucky's. Pure delight.
So about a week ago, I was on the phone with my friends, and one of them said how their friend went to Bucky's. I said, huh, I've never been there. I've only dreamed about this place, this land, if you will. And so,
Come on,
called my
you know you
girlfriend and
wanna
said, hey,
buy it.
you want to go to Bucky's tomorrow at 6 a.m.?
buy the merch.
Drive 3.5
Come
hours?
on.
Of course, she was
Buy the
hesitant. But I sealed the deal with
Buy it.
getting her to watch How I Met Your Mother.
Buy the merch.
So it worked out perfectly.
Bye.
Good morning.
My
I'm in the car. It's like
merch. Buy the merch.
6:15 in the morning.
Buy the merch.
And it's raining. But let's do it! Woo! Now, of course, I've only heard about Bucky's. I've never been to this land, if you will, the home of the buck. Bucky's. Do you see the connection here? It's crazy. I have no idea what I'm thinking. I've only heard of gas.
montage time. Go to effinggear.com. Get you a hat, jacket, some stickers. I missed. Stickers. Use discount code Nick Steinberger for 20% off.
I went to Buc-ee's. Here's how it went.
Nick goes to Buc-ee's. What a sight. Nick goes to Buc-ee's. Pure delight.
So about a week ago, I was on the phone with my friends, and one of them said how their friend went to Buc-ee's. I said, huh, I've never been there. I've only dreamed about this place, this land, if you will. And so,
Come on,
called my
you know you
girlfriend and
wanna
said,
buy
hey,
it.
you want to go to Buc-ee's tomorrow at 6
Just
a.m.?
buy the merch.
Drive 3.5
Come
hours?
on.
Of course, she was
Buy the
hesitant, but I sealed the deal with
Buy it.
getting her to watch How I Met Your Mother.
Buy the merch.
So it worked out perfectly.
Buy
Good morning.
my
We're in the car.
merch.
It's like
Buy the merch.
6:15 in the morning.
Buy the merch.
And it's raining. Let's do it. Woo!
Now, of course, I've only heard about Buc-ee's. I've never been to this land, if you will, the home of the buck. Buc-ee's. Do you see the connection here? It's crazy. I have no idea what I'm thinking. I've only heard of gas. Three, two, one. Ha ha. Hey hey. Ha 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 ha. Here we go.
Come
Take a stroll with Nick down the road.
with storyboard in tales untold, from the highs to the low, get in tune that we go, 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 cause he's your guy, he's by your side, hitting topics that's worldwide.
So let's take a ride and make some noise. Buy you some merch for you to enjoy. Get the word from anything and everything with Nick Steinberger. Let's go. Ha ha ha. Welcome back to Anything and Everything with Nick Steinberger, Season 2, Episode 4, featuring Austin Vanderkerkhove, or how the fuck you pronounce his name. How do you pronounce your last name? I turned your mic off. One more time.
Vanderkerkhove.
Vanderkerkhove. You see, I'm Steinberger, Vanderkerkhove. What? That sounds like a pint, like a name of a pint of a beer.
Or like a bank.
Yeah, the Bank of Vanderkerkhove. Yeah, I see it. So, while we were on break,
Steinberger. Is that German or is that Jewish?
German, both. It's both.
That's kind of an oxymoron.
Someone broke the rules back then. Don't worry, someone broke the rules. But no,
That's right.
yeah, my name. I am a lot. While we
I
on
have the
break,
final solution for that.
okay, we're not gonna don't cut to Austin. Keep it on me. But while we're on break, Austin went to his car to get a drink. I got my ginger ale in my little wine glass. You know, you gotta do it in the wine glass, people. You gotta do it in the wine glass. Sip for the real ones. Oh, we little cheer. Ting, little ting ting ting.
Ding. One for the homies.
Hold on.
Was that spiked?
No.
I know it wasn't.
Oh,
You good?
I'm tasting today's dinner coming up. Oh, sorry for you home listener. If you would witness that. My bad, Jet. We still got a little bit left. Finish it up.
Round 2. Hey, let's try that again, huh?
Yeah, but no. While we on break,
Second time.
Austin, we went to his car and got food. And we also got the classic, not named, non-brand cheese balls. That is cheese balls. I don't know if they have a grasp on the money on that. But back to Austin. So we just got done talking about the Army, your experience and information about it. How did that compare to Standard Issue? For those of you who don't know, Standard Issue is a musical that was written by a veteran. It was for veterans, and it included veterans in the show. amongst with other performers, and it was all about the military. The first act walks you through basically what it's like to enlist, go through basic, meet these people who will become your family, become your brothers, married, then intermission, they get deployed. And since the show's out, I can actually talk about it now, what happens. Then act 2, they come back from deployment, and the little kid of the group, Dinger, dies during deployment. And while that happens, after that, it shows the struggles of post-war trauma, post-death trauma, the struggles of mentally you go through that, and physical problems, relationship. Then another character takes a blame on him, and he ends up offing himself. And then it's a reaction to that, because that's a serious issue. Suicide is a very serious issue. Suicide Hotline 988 across the board. Go call it if you need help. It's okay to reach out. It's encouraged to reach out. But it follows that, and then it follows getting help, going to therapy, getting the things you need. And it really is a beautiful show with a 15-person orchestra, 20 original songs, all based in Southern Illinois, written, produced, made, everything. It is a Southern Illinois show. So if you missed out on seeing it, you really did miss out, but it's not the end of it. I'm on the production team. Austin was in the show, and as a production team, we're working on to continue it, to keep going. So it's not the end of it. We just recorded the cast recording. That'll be out middle July, late July, early August, around there. So that will be available on all streaming platforms. So it's not over. Don't worry. Standard issue has not died. Standard issue is very much alive. We're on the second
over.
Standard issue 2. That's what I heard. I heard they're doing a sequel. No, they're not doing a sequel. No.
Let's write a sequel.
No.
It's about the deployment.
Oh, that's gonna be a dark. That's gonna be a dark musical.
Whole show about the deployment.
Yeah, but so compared to Standard issue, how did that compare to actually experiencing it, living what these people, this character portrayed, to an extent, obviously? Be brutally honest. Brutally honest.
Standard issue is sensational. I mean, there aren't enough words that I can use to describe it.
Yeah.
For me personally, it was extremely moving and extremely emotional, and it hit a lot. It hit a lot of really hard topics. Hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, it covers topics that, I mean, obviously, when you think musical, you don't think suicide. Sorry if that's a trigger word for anyone. But you don't touch that. You don't touch.
Warning.
A lot of times, you don't touch mental.
Trigger warning.
You don't touch mental health. You don't touch a lot. I mean, you think musical, you don't really think that. But Standard issue hit it on the nail, and it covered topics that aren't talked about enough. It covered brotherhood, things that you don't think about, and it really portrayed it in a way that was still entertaining. Because that was one of the biggest struggles. Was it's about the Army. What's really entertaining about it? And then, yeah,
it makes me feel very like a big softie, because like even talking about it and like thinking about it now, like I still want to get emotional about it.
Yeah.
Just because of how real.
Yeah.
The message was, the topics. The topics were real, and the message was loud and clear.
Yeah.
And we had this. I think he was a Vietnam vet. I think.
Mm-hmm.
He was an older gentleman. And he came up to me and I want to say Zach.
Zach. Okay.
I think it was Zach. He came up to us after the show, opening night, and was kind of talking to us about it, and said that the message was delivered perfectly, loud and clear. Like, he got emotional about it. His wife was in tears. Like, she was coming out like
You're
old
getting
school,
tears right now,
like handkerchief, like she was still emotional from it. Like Act Two is an emotional roller coaster.
Yes, it's very different than Act 1. Very much so.
Very. That's what I like about Act 1. Act 1 is what I think of as a musical. It's very whimsical and a little bit of drama.
Yeah.
And funny.
Yeah. And then Act 2 is opposite, polar opposite.
And then what I liked was, it wasn't like we ended on a yay, we're going to Candy Mountain.
Yeah, we ended on yay.
It was,
that was nice.
Hey, there's a crescendo and then a cliffhanger. They didn't end it at the peak. They had to go, here's the drop, and then ended it midway through the drop, because at least for me as a vet, I found, because we went from the bar to the wedding to, hey, I'm pregnant, I can't go. Wait a minute. Or no, we went from, bar to wedding, and everyone's happy. We did it. We just had, the Five Musketeers, and ting, ting, ting. That's like the peak. Like, Captain Odenkirk hitting the glass. that was the apex of Act 1 of all
Yeah.
the fun, and then it's just suddenly we're
Boom.
deploying it.
Yeah.
We're deploying, and that's always
Yeah.
whenever you find out you're deploying, it's like, oh, you know, it's
Oh
kinda
shit, it's like actually happening.
It's kind of
This
like a
is
gut
why I signed up.
shot. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, everyone's different, obviously, but it's kind of like a gut shot. Like, you know, like I'm
'Cause
not
it-
surprised.
'cause
Like,
is
I
it-
signed up for this.
Have you
but it's
have you
like-
been deployed?
No, I have not. Unfortunately, I have not.
Yeah.
I say unfortunately because that's all I wanted to do. I
Yeah.
wanted to deploy. I wanted to go and serve
Yeah.
my country, do the thing that I signed up to
Yeah.
do. Nobody wants to sign up
Yeah.
and not go do their
And
job.
it kind of obviously I've never been in the army and you haven't been deployed, but from my understanding, it's really like, oh shit, what I signed up for is actually happening. Here
It's
we
finally
go.
happening.
Yeah.
Like we train and train and train and train.
Yeah.
Day in and active duty.
Yeah.
Day in and day out. I mean, there's training cycles and there's down cycles and there's fun and then there's serious and there's fun
Yeah.
and there's serious, right? But that's what you do. Like
Yeah.
my job as an infantry mortarman, we train mortars.
Yeah.
We train squad tactics. We train,
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
For like, what are we gonna do? It was real. It wasn't like, hey, let's just go train, do shoot houses and range and bang, 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 throw
Yeah.
grenades. Hey, cool, let's go home. It was, if we deploy, where are we going?
Yeah. And it's like if you fuck up.
And when we get there, how are we going to do our job?
Yeah.
What are we going to do?
Yeah.
Because I'm sure anybody with any kind of common sense, the way that we fight in mountains of Afghanistan is be completely different than the deserts of Saudi Arabia or
Yeah.
Syria or something, right?
Yeah.
Or
So you have
Ukraine-
to know
urban-
what you're doing.
Yeah, like urban Ukraine or I don't know, Israel or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Iran. Okay.
Yeah.
Am I going to be fighting in caves and desert and dust and sand and mud huts, or am I
Yeah.
going to be in an urban kind of second and first world country?
And
that really does change the dynamic of what you're doing.
yeah, and standard issue. So during intermission, that's when the deployment happens, and it was I think it was 18-month deployment. Is that what they end up saying?
So it was 13 months in total.
Was it total 13 months?
Yeah. Since I never deployed, I never got the
Yeah.
for sure, because everyone says a 9-month deployment,
Well,
a
well,
year
I know-
deployment, because there's like a month, mobilizing. There's time building up, getting everybody ready, getting the pieces moving, setting
Yeah.
the chessboard up,
Yeah.
right? And then you have kind of like the 16 weeks. A 16 week, 3 years and 16 weeks.
Yeah.
The 16 weeks was my basic, and then 3 years serving.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. You have your
You have
time,
your time where
getting ready,
Yeah, knowing what you're gonna do,
getting
and
where
then-
you're going, and then you're 9 months in country,
Yeah.
and then there's like jumping from Afghanistan to Kuwait, from
Yeah.
Kuwait to Germany to
being not in this country. Yeah.
exactly.
And standard issue, it didn't showcase that because obviously then the musical would be 10 hours long, but also because it shows an active war scene, you're already throwing in an army musical, so throwing in a war scene on stage is a whole nother level, which can be possible. I don't know, but that's a whole nother thing. Plus, you already having touchy topics, and you really don't. It would really hit your heart to. But it would be hard seeing like the kid of the group get shot on stage. That would be hard for a lot of people, and like for
Romero was hard.
Yeah, Romero was very hard. And Romero, who Zach Mitchell played, did a phenomenal job, by the way. He played Romero, who Romero was like the bad guy of the group, bad boy of the group, but he became good guy.
The bad guy.
Yeah, and Dinger kind of went under his wing, and
Romero was the Dean Winchester.
Yeah, I don't get the reference, but I'm hoping someone does. I'm sorry. Anyway,
Somebody will.
someone will get it.
They'll understand.
But and so whenever Dinger died, he kind of took blame, kind of blamed himself, and he had a really beautiful song called "Last Call," basically saying this is his last call of his life. And then you don't see him kill himself, you hear the gunshot, you hear, and it really captured the moment. And this really was a phenomenal cast all around. It really was a phenomenal cast, and in the show. The review, since I was marketing director, I was on production team as marketing director. My job was to sell tickets, get the word out, whatever. Really, main goal is selling tickets, but also get the word out about the show. Make sure the show lives on past the dates, and I think I've done a good job of that. Not doing my part, but do it. Thank you. And we still have work to do. Like we're still going to post things, photos from the show, that cast recording. But one of the problems we had was it's an Army show. It is a show. How are we going to convey it where people are entertained? And whenever ticket sales were not the best, but then opening night, we doubled ticket sales the 24 hours before the show. They literally doubled, you sell ticket sales at the door most times, but you really don't double. And it was like, oh, wow, okay, whoa. And the reviews, I made a review video the second day, and after opening night, the instant feedback, the gratification. Travis Westerberg in the show, he played a Benedict. He was talking to someone, and he texted our group chat, and he said how he was telling this older folk how his biggest regret was never serving in life. And I don't know if she was a veteran or if he, I don't know who it was. She was a veteran?
He said she was.
Okay. Well, she was a veteran, and she said you did serve. You may not have served like active duty, but you represented the people who have in a way that was for people to understand and representing them, giving them the recognition they needed. And that was really, even from hearing it through a text, that was a really good thing because like, oh, wow.
We were at
Buffalo
Wild Wings.
Yeah.
Was that the first? Was that the?
That was the first night.
It was the first night.
Not a sponsor.
Sorry.
You're good.
We were at Buffalo Wild Wings that first night, not a sponsor, and he had showed up, a few moments later than and he had kind of made his way around I think maybe we showed up late. I don't remember, but he made his way around the table and he was like, "Hey, I thought you guys might want to know, a lady, the older woman after the show. This is what she said." He says, I always wanted to serve. I always regretted not serving, and I thought about going back and doing it. And she goes, "Honey, no." You don't understand what you did up there. You did serve. You served us.
You served.
And like him telling me that, I'm like,
yeah. And then one of the big things. So Matt Williams, he's a professor here at SIU, where I go to SIU School of Theater and Dance, and he choreographed Will Ferrell's Broadway show, "What You're Welcome America." He was a choreographer for a Broadway show, and his wife Jennifer Williams, she was on New York City Ballet for 20 years, which is the #1 ballet in the world, one of the #1 ballets in the world. And to make a career out of it is amazing feat to do and really hard. She came out of that theater. She looked higher than the Empire State Building. Her eyes were so red from how many tears she shed, and she was still actively crying. And that, to me, because I look up to both of them, I've known them for years. I looked up to them for a lot of things. They helped me out for a lot. And seeing her bawling her eyes out, as she's been around theater her entire life. Matt's professor of it, he was crying. It was like, wow, we really did something here in Southern Illinois. And the reviews were just non-stop. Every comment was there. Anytime someone tagged us, we saw they tagged us, and every 50 comments on posts people made about the show that tagged us, posts about us, people shared posts of our stuff, they commented on those. There was hundreds and hundreds of comments saying how good the show was, and it turned from people should see this, people's perspective turned into you need to see this. Because the comments were, if you support veterans, if you are a veteran, if you love veterans, come see the show. Try to get a glimpse of what people go through. And I was talking to Josh Benson. He's the director of the American Civic Center, who was one of our partners to the show, the venue we were at. So I was working today. I was talking about it, and he said, I really enjoyed it. He said, I don't think it's at it has the foundation to go somewhere. Every show on Broadway ever has that foundation. You have to have a good foundation for a house or anything to move on. It has the things you can do. But he said there are a few things obviously need to work. Every show always needs work. But it's one of those shows that have the steps to become amazing. It has the potential. It definitely has the potential. There's no denying that. And it's really cool how we can all say we were a part of the first time that was fully performed. Because, I was a part of the stage reading, stage reading is basically hands and scripts in hand, singing while blocking.
Hands and scripts.
Yeah. And then they had a music and script review, which basically was just reading and singing the whole show. But this was the first time it was fully produced, fully everything. And once you add lights and sounds and full orchestra, it really makes a show. It really does make a show. And it was the first time it ever happened in the history, and the first time in Southern Illinois history that a regional musical has ever been fully performed. And, it was really cool and exciting to say we were a part of that. And for me specifically, being able to be a part of this show that's so special, because I'm not really that close to the Army. I have a few family members, that's it. But it was the first, I got to experience that. I learned so many lessons interviewing folks for promotioning. I interviewed Francis Pass from Pass Our One Heating, and he told me how his name is on the Liberty Bell. Like the actual Liberty Bell, his family's name's on it. It was like, that's insane.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's dope as hell.
Yeah.
And he told me about his experiences, and hearing the experiences from people, it really puts me in perspective of, oh shit, they really sacrificed almost everything. And it really puts in perspective how many people actually give the ultimate sacrifice. It It was a good show. You missed out, but
It was a very good show.
very good show.
What blew my mind, honestly, the amount of actors that we had, the way that non-military, how well that they executed those roles in those positions, having never done them before.
Yeah.
And not just, going up on stage and, you can tell they're just reading lines from memory. They were living it.
They were in the
looked-
army for a week. They were in the army
Yeah.
for a week. Yeah. That's what one ongoing joke I've been like. People are like, yeah, I've been in the army. I said I was in the army for a week on stage. So, cause, I mean, I wasn't a part of it because I was a part of a Little Shop. I was playing Seymour Crumple at Little Shop at Shawnee Community College the week of it. But the first week of like the full production, because we had a workshop era for a few months before, but after casts came out, after contracts were signed, we did a week of just army training, and it was basically is where Hank, one of the co-writers of the show, he walked everyone through basically our own mini basic camp, our own mini
Really?
basic.
I missed that.
And it was the first week. It was basically where teaching these actors who have never. I wish I was part of it, but I couldn't because I was on production team and I was doing other things. But it was basically a mini boot camp,
Really?
and it was basically where they taught them how to march. Taught them. They had everyone eat an MRE. They taught them army terms. They showed people history of the army. It was really a mini basic for a show, and it showed everyone like how to march. It showed everyone how to do it in the army's version.
Did everybody eat MREs like that one time?
Yeah,
Or was it multiple times?
multiple times. But it really, the first time a lot of people had MREs was at that first one because Hank brought a bunch.
So I think I was there for that then. I wasn't super involved yet because it was still really early on.
And
I
you
only
all-
had
and
to
also-
show up because I remember showing up in uniform. It was one of my drill weekends.
Yeah,
I came straight after drill. I think it was a Saturday.
yeah,
And came over to hang out for the last couple hours of it, and everyone was chowing down MREs.
yeah.
It's like,
and
that's a good one. That's a good one.
I know that one. I remember that one. But that was another thing. It was like these actors have never had, a lot of them had never any idea what it was like, and it puts in kind of not even remotely, but it gives you a chance to have a perspective of what that's like. And it wasn't as important for people that have been in the military because you know your shit already. And so that was one thing that Hank really did. Like, I want people to do this. And Vets in the Arts is actually continuing. This was the first project of Vets in the Arts, which was the nonprofit that was basically made for the show. And I think they're going to continue to sponsor stuff, but SIU is doing a show called Ajax, and it basically follows this girl who's deployed in Iraq, and it follows the Greek goddess Ajax, and how their lives are very similar. And it flipped from current military to military goddess. And they're actually having Hank. SIU is wanting to have it hasn't really very very early production, but they're wanting to have Hank or someone talk about what that experience is like for actors. Because this did such a good job, they're actually continuing to. So Hank is going to hopefully teach over there and teach those actors what that's like.
Hey, if they need help, sign me up.
But it's still there's not a lot of I don't know any companies besides this one that are putting the military inside theater, putting them inside the world. Like, you never knew theater before this, you said, right?
Nope.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a whole nother world for you.
Yeah, like I knew what theater was.
Yeah.
Shakespeare,
Yeah.
Sound of Music.
But you
stuff
never
like that,
knew what theater was.
No, I've never been a part of theater.
Yeah. What you doing down there?
Oh, it was something called my leg. I think it was an ant.
Oh, my bad, chat.
Huh?
My bad.
Oh, wow.
But like it, but it really was. And it was, from my perspective as a fellow cast member. I mean, I've been doing shows for you. I'm a professional performer, and for me, it was just really cool seeing people like you, or Steve, or what's his name? Austin. No, you're Austin. Fuck.
Eric.
Eric,
welcome.
Steve, you. Like, I was like, you
Steve.
three were the main ones that like never did shows before, really. Like, because Bryce has built set for shows, and he was really a backstage worker. But it
And
was
Tim, obviously.
and obviously Tim, the director. But it was really cool seeing you guys form into these theater people, like, going from a field that really isn't have anything to do with theater, honestly.
It was really weird, actually, because it's like, I'm this, soldier,
Yeah.
army, woo, here I am hanging out with theater nerds, and it's
Yeah.
like, try to fit in,
Yeah.
and it's like, it felt awkward. At
Yeah.
first, it felt really awkward, because everyone was just like, cutting loose and having
Yeah.
fun.
And you're not
just,
used
like,
to that.
And you're just like, I mean, we have our own kind of
Own version,
grab
yeah.
Yeah, we have our own kind of grab ass and fun
Yeah.
that we have.
Yeah.
But there's always this. I can't tell you how many times I got called names like gay, you know, whatever, you know. 'Cause there's just a stigma that comes with, you know, theater. You know, you're quote unquote theater nerds or
Yeah.
whatever, right?
It's
And
very
so,
different.
You know, football jocks, theater kids.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it was like. So everyone that I talked to, like, hey, I'm doing this, they're like, why? I never would have pinned you to want to do something like
Yeah.
that. And if I'm being completely honest, I originally did a rehearsal as a joke.
Oh, yeah?
Like, so what happened was I had to miss one day of drill, however many months ago.
Yeah.
And I had to do a makeup day for that drill. So I
Yeah.
came in, did my makeup day. It's like on a Wednesday. And when I was in, and there's no one around. So the makeup drills are really easy. You mostly just clean inventory, whatever, for like 6 hours. And as I was cleaning one of the offices, just wiping down tables and stuff because they were remodeling,
Yeah.
wipe down all the dust. There was a poster, it was casting call. It had like OD Green and the old ACU Digi
Yeah.
camo, and I was like, "What's that?" You know. And I went up to it. Excuse me, chat. Fitting in. So I went to go read this, you know, casting call. And I'm reading it, and it was like, you know, military themed musical, standard issue. We're looking for veterans, any age,
Yeah.
no experience in theater, like anything. It was really just like, hey, you want to do it? Come do it.
Yeah.
So it's like, how bad can it be? You know, I'd always had this interest of wanting to be like an actor. Like I always wanted to be like
Yeah.
Johnny Depp or something,
Yeah.
you know, or like RDJ or something.
Yeah.
You know, Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
Love that man. But I never went to theater because I never had this desire to go to college, and I always assumed like theater and things like that. Well, you had to go to school to do it. You had to go to school. You had to
Yeah.
be in school, like sports. You know, you don't just go do football.
You really have to play college
You
football.
gotta
first. Yeah.
you gotta play, right?
Yeah.
Like in school, where high school, college, etc. So in my mind, I'm thinking, you know, theater, musicals, band. I mean, not band, but you know.
But yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Anyway, so I saw this. I went, cool. Sure, let's
Yeah.
do it. Let's just go see how bad it is.
Yeah.
Because I never would have suspected that I would have gotten picked up and asked to be there.
Yeah.
And when I went there and did lines, or well, excuse me, when I did my my
You got it. I believe in you.
audition.
I believe in
audition.
you.
Words are hard sometimes. When I did my audition, it was just him and Deanna.
Mm.
And for the 2 weeks before, I'm just stressing, like, what am I going to do? What song am I going to sing? I didn't have
Yeah.
to bring any lines because they were going to bring,
Yeah.
read from the script or
Yeah.
whatever it's called. I'm like, what song am I going to do? Because I don't know the etiquette. I didn't know you're supposed to audition with a musical song.
Yeah. What'd you bring?
So I was asking Tim, I'm like, do I sing Nickelback or
Yeah.
Metallica? Am I coming out going Enter Sandman or
Yeah.
whatever? You know,
Yeah.
what do I do? And he says, just anything you want, whatever you're comfortable with. You know, there's no real.
Yeah.
It was the first time we're doing this. It didn't really matter.
Yeah.
But at that point in time, though, I had just kind of got off of this Greatest Showman kick.
Oh, yeah.
I really enjoyed the Greatest Showman movie.
Yeah.
So, because I've always liked Hugh Jackman as an actor
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm watching The Greatest Showman, and there's a bunch of really good songs
Yes,
in
very
that
much
movie
so.
as well. And I did The Other Side.
Oh,
was
yeah.
my audition. What I
Yeah.
really wanted to do was just Zac Efron's part,
Yeah.
but I couldn't really find an audio file on YouTube
Yeah.
that had Hugh Jackman's part and left Zac Efron's part out to do
Yeah.
that. And then when I got there, I was really nervous and
Yeah.
I was trying to sing the song all the way through so many times.
Yeah.
I was getting choked up on parts, just kept screwing it up.
Yeah.
And then they're like, okay, what song you want to do? I'm like, I'm going to do The Other Side by, from The Greatest Showman. And Deanna's like, oh, I love that movie.
Yeah.
I was just like, thanks. No pressure.
Yeah.
So I inevitably just bombed. I screwed it up. I did
Fully butchered it. Yeah.
I just butchered it. I did really good for the first,
Then it started hitting.
stanza.
Oh shit! I'm doing this.
and
yeah.
then it's when it transitioned to the next stanza, it was, what's the next line?
Yeah.
Line. And then
Yeah.
I kind of picked up. I had to turn around and close my eyes to get back into
Yeah.
the song. That didn't go well, but I think having the military experience really helped with delivering the
Yeah.
lines during the reading. The whatever.
Yeah.
I really wanted to be Drill Sergeant Van Loo,
Did you? Yeah.
but Connor, he did.
A phenomenal job.
He was so phenomenal.
Yeah.
The Sunday after the Sunday show, I was standing there with him talking to him and some other people. This guy came up. He goes, "Did you actually serve or whatever?" He goes, "No." He
Yeah.
goes, "Man, you did such a great job portraying," because he had the hat on. They knew he was a drill sergeant. You
Yeah.
did such a great job portraying that. I thought there's no way you didn't serve and was a drill sergeant.
Yeah, the guy was?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, no, like he was saying
Oh, yeah.
he
Yeah,
couldn't
yeah.
believe that Connor wasn't a
Yeah.
drill sergeant somewhere.
Yeah.
Because he did so well at executing what that would have looked like.
Yeah.
And then, like, during the show, he kind of ad-libbed a couple of things, added a couple of things in
Yeah.
there that we hadn't practiced before. Like, lose the chew,
Yeah.
swallow it. It was like, whoa, that was awesome. It was hilarious. That's such a typical, like, drill sergeant thing
Yeah.
to do. I mean, obviously, we don't have dip and basics, so there's no spit it out.
Yeah, but still finding
like-
stuff on the fly, yeah.
But, just things like that kind of humor.
And that was one of the things that Connor does show like multiple shows every year for like years now, and so it really comes down to it. Yeah, they want to introduce new people. Please audition if you've never done a show before. Please audition, but it also comes down to they have a show to cast, so they're going to cast the best person they can. But normally they cast it pretty good. They normally don't fuck up on casting normally. And it was just Connor is also a really good actor, so he's good at if he's casted as a role, he's going to do his research. He's going to learn how to play this role the best way he can, and he did a really good job.
I was super flattered because I can't remember who now, but quite a bit of the other cast members, like after rehearsals, would ask me like, "Hey," well, I can remember, Travis had asked me a couple of times, "Hey, how do I do this? How can I execute this? Like, what's going to make it look more real?"
Yeah.
Like, I was super flattered. It's like, wow, these guys are coming to me for advice on how they should portray this.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, that's cool.
Because I mean, a good actor knows when they don't know their shit, and a lot of times when it comes to actors in the army, you don't know your shit, and so that was one really big thing. Is a lot of people that they really encourage for all of us that Tim encouraged, like, ask questions, please ask questions, and because a good actor will do the research no matter if they're playing a dancer in Hello Dolly or if they're playing a man-eating plant, their job is
Little Shop of Horrors, right?
Yes. And their job is to. Good job. I'm proud of you for that. But Austin, after rehearsals, I try to show him different musicals and stuff like that. But our job is to find. Look, she's right there.
Yep, there she is.
But our job is to find out information, to play the role the best we can. And so you were in the show, plus you had the experience. So you were like a triple whammy. Go get him. Ask him questions.
Yeah,
So.
everything about this show was super surreal.
Yeah.
Like everything about it. It's almost hard to say, it's just a coincidence, because there's just so many things that are just meshing.
Yeah.
My first ever musical. It was a military theme musical. As I'm transitioning out of the military, starting a new chapter of my life,
Yeah.
which is now going to be being involved in theater and stuff of that nature.
So all of your worlds were just
It's just
combining.
like everything, like this was
The perfect
the
show.
crossroad.
Yeah.
As,
Oh,
you know,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah.
Not like his. That was a
Yeah.
completely
So
different
there's a song in
crossroad.
there's a song on the show called Crossroads, and it's right after the main character finds out that Romero killed himself, and
very
basically, and it's the song he sings right after he finds out, and basically his crossroads, one road being kill himself, one road being get therapy, get help, and he met in the crossroads like, okay, I have to decide which way to go. And
Do I
one of the
give
line,
up, or do I
do I
do better?
yeah, and he
I
ends
keep
up
fighting, or
he
do I
ends up
give up?
choosing to keep fighting, and so very different meaning of crossroad than
Yeah, very
Austin,
different meaning crossroads.
but good reference.
I'll say a fork in my road. All my paths are like meeting like right here. It's
And that was kind of the point. That really is the point of the Vets in the Arts, is getting veterans involved in shows and having them continue. And this work, no offense, it worked out perfect for you. The plan worked out. The spike we put in your drink worked out. Now you're going to keep doing shows.
I definitely got bit by the bug. Definitely got bit by that
Yeah,
damn bug.
because it really is a whole different. It's a whole different environment. and it's just fun.
It's a completely different emotion.
Yeah.
Like maybe I'm just retarded, but I'm having a hard time like processing.
Yeah, I was telling Max in the car because we were talking about like because there's a term called Blue Monday depression, post Monday depression, and
I had to take off work.
Did you? Really?
Well, I'll say so. I have Thursdays and Fridays off generally.
Yeah.
And I took a 3-day block of vacation because a 3-day block of vacation is like guaranteed if it's open.
Yeah.
So I put that in for the Saturday, Sunday, Monday. For
Yeah.
the shows.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I'll just go back to work Monday, rescind that day, keep the day.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
man. I had to
especially like for me, I don't really get it because I mean the past 2 years I've done over 20 shows. Like I do shows all the time. It's my job. But like for some people who don't do shows a lot, it really is their world. I remember the Sunday of matinee, the last show. We were getting ready, and you guys, it's ending. I'm gonna miss you guys. And like as the show happened, I just see you get sadder, and I just see you go. Your mindset go from like right here.
I felt it too.
Yeah.
Like we started off the matinee, like we're here, we're doing it. Like I felt so good about the matinee because we just how well we had executed the first 2 nights,
and you had all the reviews and everything,
and all the reviews. We had to postpone the show like 10 minutes or something like that.
Yeah.
Because people were out the door.
Because how many people were there?
Tickets.
Yeah.
So like we're up here, we're at like this is the
Yeah.
high, and then as the scenes like the last time we did scene 1.
Last time we did scene 2. Last time we
the
sang
last
that
time
song.
we did scene 3.
Last time we did
The
that
last
line.
time I
yeah.
get to see Band of Brothers. 5 Musketeers.
Yeah.
Why do I keep saying Band of Brothers?
Branded Brothers.
Branded Brothers. That's why. But the 5 Musketeers and the Branded Brothers, that's probably that and Crossroads are my 2 favorite scenes.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I mean, there's a video.
Last Call.
There's a video
Ooh.
of Austin
Yes.
backstage because Austin was the tattoo artist who gave the main characters their tattoos. And there's a scene of him behind one of the set because the set had
moving
the
legs.
set had 8 huge.
I didn't realize that was the first time that's been done either.
Yeah, that happened a
Because
lot.
when we were taking apart the set, I'm like, why are we taking all this down? They're like, oh yeah, we don't use that. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's the first time we
Yeah.
use this. I'm like, what?
Yeah. So so the set had 8 main legs. It had like 15, 20 foot huge legs, like
legs.
8 feet wide. Shut up. And basically, they were on tracks and slid. And Austin hid behind one to give him tattoos. And there's a video of him boogieing, like full on, not realizing anyone's watching him. Then you see him. Do this move right here. He goes. Oh yeah, he was full on, like he was thrown off. And
Like,
so
it was one of those moments where it's like, you just kind of react. It's like, why did I turn around? I have no idea why I turned
Yeah.
around. But I turned around, I see Deanna recording me, I'm go, hey,
yeah,
you caught me.
yeah. But no, it was a really fun show. I mean, a lot of people enjoyed it. All right.
And
Okay.
then, go.
Now you go.
I was gonna say, and then Maddie in her drawings.
Yeah. Maddie Diders, she was one of the kids of the Diders who wrote the musical, and a lot of times after shows she'll draw. She's an amazing artist. And when
Amazing
Austin
artist.
got it, he started breaking. That you started that. I think
did.
he started
did.
letting it happen because that's
Yeah.
when we all started planning the after, like when the show ends, and that's when it all starts hitting. All the feelings were really. Austin was discovering that feeling for the first time. So, all right, everyone, we're gonna take another break. When we get back, we're going to transition to a little bit more about Austin and what's next for Austin. What's his next steps? So,
Hopefully baby ones.
oh, I get
Get
it.
it?
Yeah,
Baby
because you're having a kid
steps.
coming up. Ah,
No, I already have a kid.
okay, you know what I meant growing up. Okay, everyone.
When we get back, we'll
What?
be back.
Montage time. Go to effinggear.com. Get you a hat, jacket, some stickers. I missed. Stickers. Use discount code Nick Steinberger for 20% off.
I went to Buc-ee's. Here's how it went.
Nick goes to Buc-ee's. What a sight. Nick goes to Buc-ee's. Pure delight.
So about a week ago, I was on the phone with my friends, and one of them said how their friend went to Buc-ee's. I said, huh, I've never been there. I've only dreamed about this place, this land, if you will. And so,
Come on,
called my
you know you
girlfriend and
wanna
said,
buy
hey,
it.
you want to go to Buc-ee's tomorrow at 6 a.m.?
buy the merch.
Drive 3.5
Come
hours?
on.
Of course, she was
Buy the merch.
hesitant, but I sealed the deal with
Buy it.
getting her to watch How I Met Your Mother.
Buy the merch.
So it worked out perfectly.
Buy
Good morning.
my
We're in the car.
merch.
It's like
Buy the merch.
6:15 in the morning.
Buy the merch.
And it's raining. Let's do it. Woo!
Now, of course, I've only heard about Buc-ee's. I've never been to this land, if you will, the home of the buck. Buc-ee's. Do you see the connection here? It's crazy. I have no idea what I'm thinking. I've only heard of gas.
Montage time. Go to unfiltered.com. Get you a hat, jacket, some stickers. I missed. Stickers. Use discount code Nick Steinberger for 20% off.
I went to Buc-ee's. Here's how it went.
Nick goes to Buc-ee's. What a sight. Nick goes to Buc-ee's. Pure delight.
So about a week ago, I was on the phone with my friends, and one of them said how their friend went to Buc-ee's. I said, huh, I've never been there. I've only dreamed about this place, this land, if you will. And so,
Come on,
called my
you know you
girlfriend and
wanna
said,
buy
hey,
it.
you want to go to Buc-ee's tomorrow at 6 a.m.?
buy the merch.
Drive 3.5
Come
hours?
on.
Of course, she was
Buy the
hesitant, but I sealed the deal with
Buy it.
getting her to watch How I Met Your Mother.
Buy the merch.
So it worked out perfectly.
Buy
Good morning.
my
We're in the car. It's like
merch. Buy the merch.
6:15 in the morning.
Buy the merch.
And it's raining. Let's do it. Woo!
Now, of course, I've only heard about Buc-ee's. I've never been to this land, if you will, the home of the buck. Buc-ee's. Do you see the connection here? It's crazy. I have no idea what I'm thinking. I've only heard of gas. Why is my soundboard cutting off? Oh, wait. It's because I only download like that many seconds. That's why.
Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy. Unite. I thought it was fitting.
I thought it was too, because that was SpongeBob thing. Oh, Austin, you're doing a good job. We're about an hour and 20 minutes in so far. You're doing
This is a
good.
first for me too.
For what?
Podcast.
Oh,
Talking in front of people again.
yeah. Yeah. But no, Austin. So what was life like for Austin before corrections? Like, where'd you grow up? What was it like? How old were you?
All right, how far back we going? Was it before corrections? Before McDonald's?
Up to
high
you.
School? Oh, God.
Start from the beginning. Stop when your mommy popped you out of the womb. What day, year was that?
It's awful personal.
What time? What hospital?
7:03 in the morning.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So funny story behind that. The only reason I know that is because I was trying to come up with a clever like Xbox gamer tag on Xbox 360.
Okay.
And I was watching Red versus Blue at the time, and I really liked Epsilon, the AI that they were using.
Yeah.
And so I asked my mom, I'm like, I gotta use a number because Epsilon's already taken. So I'm like, hey mom, what time was I born? Because I didn't want to use like my birthday because I'm like, that's too original
Yeah.
or too
Too basic. Yeah.
too basic. Yeah, I'm not gonna be a basic bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, gonna be unique.
Yeah.
So like, what time was I born? She goes 7:03. I'm like, really? She goes, yeah. I'm like, how do you remember that? She goes, yeah, my son. Of course I remember that. I got my daughter tattooed on my arm.
Do you?
Yeah. Like I
Oh, word.
got her birth date on my arm.
Where's Rich? That's the wrong
Direction.
I have a lot of
got my
fun.
lucky charms.
But no, so like, where you from? What was life like for you?
I'm from the small town of Coelho. It's by Christopher. It's basically Christopher.
Yeah.
It's an old village, old mining village.
Yeah.
Growing up for me, basic small town.
Man,
crap.
podcast Austin left the room. Podcast Austin left hit a train, I guess.
I don't know how to talk about my childhood. It's kind of I didn't really do anything. Like I had a good childhood. Like I was very fortunate. You know, my parents weren't married, but my parents, you know, they co-parented well.
Yeah.
And then like my mom, you know, she got married. I don't want to say remarried. She never married my dad. My mom got married, had my sister. That was rough. Like 5, 6, 7, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah.
That was rough because my stepdad was just a real piece of shit.
Oh, word.
Yeah, he was just a narcissistic
Yeah.
asshole. Nothing good to say about him.
Are they still married?
No.
Oh.
No, they divorced. Thank God. But then the three of us, my mom, me, my mom, my sister, we all we left because we lived with him in Murfreesboro.
Yeah.
And we moved away. We left, and I think right after that we went to Christopher.
Gotcha.
There was a point in time where we lived it. We moved around a little bit. I think that was before she got married though.
Gotcha.
But we moved to Christopher into my great grandma's old house because my grandma owned it. After
Yeah.
Are you doing that on purpose?
What?
Nothing.
But yeah.
Hello. Oh.
Yeah, I was gonna write. Nope, too late. You lost it.
I was gonna do the Grinch.
Oh well, too late. You missed it.
Anyway, so we moved to Christopher, and then I lived there for, well, basically, till I was an adult. When I was about 16, 17, 16,
Gotcha.
I moved out of my mom's and went to go live with my dad. 'Cause we just weren't doing very good at that point in time. You know, teenager boy, and you don't understand me, mom. So,
Yeah.
I moved out. I had a lot of issues with my sister too. So I moved out, went to go live with my dad, and then that was pretty great. You know, hung out with him, and then went to school, played football. He took me to the gym. It's really throwing me off. It's really throwing me off. It's hilarious. Like hearing me in my head. Hello, sinister voices in my head. How can I help you today?
Yeah. But no, you really fit in with the group, and like you can tell because you like, why Benton?
Closer to work.
Oh.
And I kind of like living 3 minutes away from a Walmart.
Yeah.
It's just
See,
convenient.
See, I grew up in West Frankfort, so Benton's rivals. So I always dig on Benton when I get a chance to.
I hated everybody equally, even my own town.
Word. That's a good mindset to have. I hate everyone equally. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
It's like, ooh, Cesar. Ooh, Benton.
All right, I'm gonna do a little game with you.
Okay.
I need you to pick a number 1 through 8.
7.
All right, 1 through 8. 6.
6.
Okay. He asked for it.
Chicken jockey.
You picked that one, so
Ooh.
I don't know what you want from me, but you picked that one, so
Chicken jockey.
chicken Minecraft movie.
I know. Well, I knew the chicken jockey before the movie.
I know, I did too. That's when it really got big.
I remember when Minecraft didn't have sheep. Or was
Yeah.
it cows? I think it was sheep.
I remember when Minecraft didn't have the
But they didn't have
fortress.
anything.
Yeah, and it was just like
It was just Minecraft.
my favorite old Minecraft memory is whenever you could place water and it just infinitely leveled out. You didn't have like a water bucket thing. It's just like you place water and it filled any hole.
Really?
Yeah. That was in like the early.
Oh, yeah.
That was
Yeah,
early,
yeah.
early.
Yeah, I don't like the water mechanics now. It's like when you're trying to like dry out an ocean or something, and you have to do every freaking block.
Yeah, Austin is very upset about the water physics in Minecraft. Mojang, you have upset Austin Vanderkerkhove.
Wait, how dare you, Mojang?
You have upset
dare
Austin Vanderkerkhove. I mean,
Do
cough.
better. Huh?
Nothing.
Okay.
That was a good one, Max. You hear that one? I said. That was a good one, Austin Vanderkerkhove. I mean, cough.
Ah, I've never heard that one before.
Austin Vanderkerkhove. I mean, cough. You ruined it.
You got pretty eyes. You ever been told that before?
No.
Chat, tell him he's got beautiful eyes.
Well, that's very sweet of you to say. So, thank you so
Hey, you know what?
much.
Screw you. I don't have voice or sound effects.
Yeah, you're right. I have the
Yeah.
power. I don't really get to use a lot because it's an
Hey,
podcast.
you need
so-
to get a, I got the power. You know, you need one of those.
I mean, I have a lot of things on here. I mean, I like.
Do you have the Wilhelm scream?
No, but I have this right here.
Wham, baby.
All right, that's enough. That's enough. That's enough of that.
I'm basically Deadpool. Of course I know Wham. Careless Whisper.
Yeah, Austin has this little slingshot. And you want to talk about that slingshot?
Sure.
Let's hear it.
We want to know.
Do you tell me? Tell me everything you have about that car. Every single piece of detail you have until I get bored.
We'll be right back. No, I'm kidding.
No, we won't.
Well, it's got 2 wheels in the front, 1 in the back.
I hate him so much.
I have okay, so I got 2016 Polaris Slingshot. You know what it is? It's 2 wheels in the front, 1 in the back, and it's
Oh my gosh, Doc!
a fly.
I had a buddy that I worked with at the prison. He had one. He let me drive it. Fell in love with it. It was awesome. It's a lot safer than a motorcycle.
Yeah.
We still get like the open air,
Yeah.
wind in your face experience.
Yeah.
And
Where's Rachel? You keep ruining it.
I know.
I'm trying to do a cool Batman.
I know. But
Anyway,
come on.
Anyway, so he let me drive it. I fell in love with it. So I was like, I gotta get one. But I wasn't gonna go pay like 20 grand for a sort of used new one.
Yeah.
And he sent me like a Facebook link. I was like, hey, check this out. There's a guy in Mount Vernon that had one. And circumstances, his stepdaughter had just, she got into an accident in his only other car. And so he had to get rid of his so he could, have some money to go get an actual work car. He wanted basically what he owed on it, like $13,500, something like that. And I was like, sign me up.
Yeah.
Fun story. The day that I met this guy, so me and my buddy that has a slingshot, we went to go meet this guy. We're going to look at it. Hey, cool, checks out. Let's go buy it right now. Excuse me. We look at it. We decide, yes, I'll do it. Well, 13.5, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Had a grand cash. We went to his bank. It was real easy because we went to his bank. I got approved for the loan. They basically just closed his loan out, gave me a loan for exactly what his was, or like transferred it to my name, whatever the bank people do. And that was it. On the way to the bank is when I got the text message of pregnancy stick. We're in this thing. We're driving down Main Street, just cruising along like a mile and a half from the bank. I get a text message, pull up my phone. I was like, I look and see who it is. I look at what I'm like, what? Like, I'm really confused. And I was like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
And
Do
then
it. Do it. You just said one more time.
Huh?
Say what you just said one more time.
Oh,
There you go. I got you. Don't worry.
Here's looking at you, kid.
Yeah.
So my buddy's like, what? I just go, or like this. He looks over, he goes, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Good.
Thank you.
Dude, that was good. I like that.
But no, that's I've never gotten a pregnant before. Me personally, I've never gotten pregnant. I've never gotten a girl pregnant before. Never gotten a guy pregnant before. And what was that like? Was that scary? Exciting?
I didn't know how to feel.
Oh.
Because I'd always wanted to be a dad.
Yeah.
Like I knew, like I knew that I would want to be, you know, a father at some point in my life.
Yeah.
And I always felt like I was behind, like I was late.
Yeah.
I felt late joining the military. I felt late, you know, starting a family. I felt late doing a musical. You know, I just feel late to life.
Yeah.
So it was a bittersweet because, yeah, I'd always wanted to do this, but am I ready?
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know if I'm ready. And then I start thinking back all the times, people like, you're never ready. I'm like, great. Now I'm one of those people that's like, am I ready? You know, whatever.
Yeah.
And I was fulfilling a stereotype. And I was like, damn it. And then I was also, man, am I ready? Because I waited too long. You know, how's this going to work when I'm older? Because I can distinctly remember, like, my dad had me at a relatively young age. And I can remember there were times where, like, I want to go do something. I want to go on a bike ride. I want to hang out, you know, something. And we couldn't because of work or, you know, been working so much, he's tired, you know, got other things going on. You got to work on the car, got to mow the grass. You know, there was adulting that he had to do. Or like he was hurt and didn't feel good, something like that. And so I can distinctly remember being bummed out a lot of the times because I couldn't do things.
Yeah.
And I was afraid that since I'd already surpassed the age my dad was when he had me, that I was going to be worse off for my kids. And so I had this just anxiety of I'm not going to be a good dad because I'm getting a late start.
Yeah.
But I was also like extremely excited because it's like I've always wanted to have a kid.
Yeah. So I'm taking a photo of my showrunner. He's on his phone right now, not paying attention. So go ahead, Austin. But no, that I mean, I feel like for me, the day I get a text from whoever, whatever happens, that's
hopefully your girlfriend.
But I feel like the day I actually become like a dad, like I've always wanted to be a dad. My number one goal in life is to be the best I can. I feel like the day it happens, it's gonna be like, oh shit, this is like actually happening.
That's kind of what it was like.
Hopefully hopefully it's no time soon. Hopefully I still got a few more years, you know, hopefully. I better have a few more years. But no, I feel like when it does happen, it's like, oh shit, it's happening now. So
for me personally, there was a moment of, oh, it's happening. It's happening. It's happening. It's like Steve Carell in The Office on that one episode. He's like, you know, everybody.
Yeah.
But it was very brief because I was sitting there thinking like, I have 9 months to process this.
Yeah.
I'm like, I ain't got to freak out right now. There's no need to be freaking out.
Yeah.
I can think about this. I got time to plan. I know I need to plan. I know I need to figure things out and have a game plan. I got 9 months to do that.
Yeah.
That's longer than it feels like.
Yeah.
So I kind of calmed down and relaxed. I was like, okay, breathe. What am I doing first?
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, that's...
You made a plan.
I made a plan. That's kind of where I went with it.
Yeah.
Which led to me... I rushed into buying my house, and I bought a truck, and I bought the slingshot, like, all back to back to back. I think I bought a motorcycle, too.
Oh, wow, look at you go, you diva.
But I got it for $500 from somebody that was trying to get rid of it. They were replacing the carburetor on there, and they just like, hey, here's all the... that they'd already replaced the carburetor, and they can get it to run. They had an issue getting the these little stacks. It's like air intakes or whatever, filters. They had an issue getting those mounted on it, and then all you had to do was put the fuel tank back on the seat, you know, hook some stuff up, good to go.
Yeah.
So I'm like, he had a lot going on live. They were having another kid. They were moving. So he's like, I just don't have time to mess with it. It's in the storage unit. So I'm like, there's nothing wrong with it. $500.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, I'll put it together and sell it for $1,000. I made $500, you know?
Yeah.
I inevitably never did that. I just sold it for $500.
Yeah. So if you could go back, and like change when you get pregnant, would you keep it how it is, or would you change it? Like, would you change anything in your life, or are you happy where it's at?
I think
deep question.
I think everything happens for a reason.
That's how I am. Yeah.
I think there's a bigger picture. There's a purpose. Everybody's got a purpose.
Yeah.
And you asked me, and my first thought goes straight to my daughter.
Yeah.
If I changed anything in my past, would I have my daughter?
Yeah.
Would it still be?
That's kind of
who she is. Would it be a boy? Would she be somebody else? Would her personality still be the same? Would her essence be the same? I would never know.
That's kind of how I am, because I'm obviously not with a kid. But like my dad, like dark time. Everyone's like it's a sensitive topics. About my dad raped kids before I was born. My dad was in prison for my life, and so I didn't have a dad. I don't have a dad. And growing up, I was like bullied. I was severely bullied and things like that. And so like it makes me wonder. It's like because like my number one goal in life is to become the best dad I can be because I never got that. And I want to have a world where I can show my kids that no matter what you do in life, have fun and make a living with it. Yep. Theater's a perfect way to do that. It's not a guaranteed field. And so it kind of makes me wonder. Obviously, I will never put anyone through what I went through. I don't want anyone ever to feel like that. But it makes you wonder. It's like, would I be the type of person I am if I didn't experience these things? If I don't listen. So I'm like also a firm believer that's like things happen for a reason. Mm-hmm. Whatever that reason is, they happen. So
like meeting you guys, being here right now.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be here right now
if you did not read that paper.
Had I not met you guys. I would have never met you guys had I never been part of the musical.
Yeah.
Or had I not decided to be a part of the musical. I would have never even knew about the musical had I not been at drill.
Yeah.
I
wouldn't have been drill if you weren't in the army.
I wouldn't have been there had I not signed up for those other 2 years.
Yeah.
That I was absolutely miserable these last 2 years of my National Guard contract. Mm-hmm. So it's like I sit there and I think, where did our relationship begin? Like exactly.
Butterfly effect is a like, crazy thing.
I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have my daughter.
Yeah.
If I didn't join the military.
Yeah.
So I try to think. It's like, where would I be had I not made this decision? I try to think ahead.
If I could play God for a day, if I could play God for a day, I would just obviously I'd do good things, obviously, but I would see what my life looked like if I didn't. It's kind of like It's a Wonderful Life. He sees what happens if he does kill himself. He sees what happens. Like obviously not that, but I wonder what's like if I chose to do something else differently instead. Mm. If you could
like multiverse.
Yeah. If you could go back in time, would you stop 9/11? Got dark real there quick. You don't have to answer if you want to. You can defer the question. But I think that's a good question. You wouldn't stop it?
No.
I don't think so either. I think it happened for a reason.
Everything happens for a reason. And even though I have my own personal beliefs about 9/11 and what really happened, I don't think there's one thing that is indisputable is that the level of patriotism and that ensued after 9/11 and how the entire country came together.
Yeah. The whole world came together,
like,
really.
We all came together over that. Like we were I don't think we were ever closer as a country after that. Definitely different than how it is today.
Yeah.
You know, all the division and anyway. So
have you seen there's a really good musical Come From Away. Have you seen that? Have you heard about that at all? It's about Max, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't it about passengers on an airplane who during 9/11? Yeah. It's about passengers on an airplane. It's not one of the airplanes, right? Was
it the Pennsylvania one that crashed?
No, it's a random airplane that had nothing to do with 9/11.
Oh, okay.
But they were
just in the air.
They were in the air while it happens. What? He's looking up. But like it's about being on a plane through that day. And it's called Come From Away. It was on Broadway. It's a really good I haven't seen it, but it's what I've heard it's a really good musical. So.
I feel like
I
feel like being on like Air Alaska or something. I don't know, like other side of the country while 9/11 is happening. Imagine what that would have felt like. Like you're a passenger and you just found out that planes were hijacked and smashed into the World Trade Center. You're on a plane. You're like,
I mean, imagine.
Are we gonna die too? You know.
I mean, imagine being in New York City when it happened.
Oh yeah, I know, right?
I mean, I have autism. I have Asperger's, and one big trait about people that have Asperger's, they focus on one thing like more than ADHD. Like they'll learn about something for a while, then they'll go to the next thing. And at one point, mine was 9/11. It went from the ship Titanic in 1912 that sunk to the 9/11. Very different things. But and I
Inside
remember
jobs.
And I remember looking at one of the photos of 9/11. It's just the sky was just black, and it's crazy
With the smoke and the ash, yeah.
And it's crazy. Like on ground floor, it's like hundreds of feet of just rubble, like rubble. It's crazy. Like streets turned into a war zone from two huge buildings. Actually, technically like 5 because some collapsed around it, but still. 2 minutes, crazy.
Building 11 or building 13. Whatever.
I think so. Yeah, but
I don't remember what it was called.
And then like and then it's just like, it's just crazy. Like the world stopped for a day or two.
Yeah.
Like I mean,
Toby Keith made a song about it.
You know that means something. Toby Keith made a song. Like all planes in the United States were grounded.
Mm-hmm.
When has
you
that
ever seen the video of it's like the entire country. You know, it has like it's like blown up. It got all the little yellow planes showing you
And
the
then
traffic,
that
and then it has
has-
how they all just
yeah,
ground.
yeah, it's crazy. All right, I think that was we've covered. We've been on a whirlwind this episode. Well, Austin, thank you again for coming on today. Thank you again for doing Stand Issue. Thank you again for doing everything you do, Austin.
Do it.
You're gonna do it.
Do it.
Well, thank you again, Austin, for coming on. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you all for watching. Hey, I have a little thing. Hold on.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yeah, listen to him.
Yeah,
But no.
like and subscribe, and maybe you'll see me again.
Maybe
Maybe.
you will. Well, first time, but you'll see me again. Thank you again for coming and watching live. Thank you again for if you're watching this later. Thank you again. Buy my merch. Watch my podcast. Wait till the beat drops, Max. We gotta hear the good part, people. Let's hear it. Close it out. Hit the word from anything and everything with Nick Steinberger. Let's go.